All right, we're on lesson number 8 as we walk through the Red Sea Rule. Today we'll be talking about trusting God to deliver in His own unique way. Trusting God to deliver in His own unique way. And over the past 10 or 15 years, you hear so many people talking about deliverance.
That's right.
And so many different perspectives on deliverance and what that word deliverance means. And today I want us to, hopefully we'll leave here understanding God's perspective on deliverance versus our perspective of deliverance, which is different.
That's right.
I wanted God to deliver me from drugs and alcohol. And I prayed for years that He would deliver me from drugs and alcohol. But my idea of what that deliverance would look like would be that He would just take the taste from my mouth and allow me to go out and live the way I wanted to live. He delivered me and left me in a dependent state.
Yeah.
And that wasn't what I called deliverance.
That's right.
Because I didn't want to go to no meetings.
That's right.
I didn't want to have to go to church.
Yeah.
I didn't want no sponsor.
Yeah.
I didn't want none of that.
That's right.
So He delivered me in a way that was different than the way I wanted to be delivered.
Wow.
And I had to learn that I had to accept His way. Because He wasn't going to change.
My.
And so I rejected it and said, if that's the way you want to deliver me,
Yeah.
then I don't even want it.
That's right. That's right.
And I went back out and got high
Yeah.
because I didn't want that. That's why I got 5 relapses. It wasn't about, y'all hear me, it wasn't about my desire to continue to use. It was about my rejection of God's perspective
Yeah.
on the way He wanted to deliver me.
Yeah.
That's what it was about. It wasn't an overwhelming craving. I just didn't want it that way.
That's right.
You know, you ever had somebody try to give you something and you didn't like the way that they gave it to you, and you just say, you know what, you can just keep it then.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the way you want to do it. You can just keep you down there for your sister. Yeah, that's what I done. I done that with God. I said, well then, you know what? You can just keep your little deliverance.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you know what He said? Okay.
Okay.
And I went out and suffered and came back. And it's on the 5th time, I said, all right, Lord, I'll take it the way you give it. He said, I knew it.
That's right.
You see what I'm saying? But I thought I could bully Him into delivering me the way I wanted to be delivered. Or that He would feel so sorry for how pitiful I was
Yeah.
that He would change.
Yeah.
And He wasn't moved.
What move?
Yeah. I learned, my mom used to tell me that. She said, well, I'm not moved by your tears.
Yeah.
You know, because I would pout, and she was like, you know what, that's not, oh, okay.
Okay.
What you gonna do is end up with a reason
Yeah.
to pout.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, all that kind of stuff. That's abuse.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the way God allowed me to, and maybe y'all.
Oh, yeah.
And so maybe it's not a desire, and I move on to the lesson, to use. Maybe the reason you keep coming back, Dominique, is a rejection of God's deliverance. Because He's saying, all right, I'm going to deliver you, but these are some things you're going to have to do. And what we call that is learning how to walk in our deliverance.
Yeah.
See, sometimes you got to walk deliverance out or through. You see what I'm saying?
That's right.
We just want to be zapped
Yeah.
and left alone.
That's right.
Shook up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now you healed. You ain't got to go to no meeting.
Yeah.
You ain't got to go to church. You ain't got to do nothing.
Yeah.
You believe that? Thank you. Because ain't nothing in that right there.
Yeah.
I ain't done nothing to you. You be high before this evening saying, Bussy shuku to me. I'm healed. I ain't been in. Ain't nothing in there.
Nope.
Man, you supposed to fall over.
Yeah. That's right.
All that or something.
Yeah.
I ain't saying that, you know, I ain't getting into the doctrine of that, but I just want you to understand that God's view of deliverance is different than ours. That makes sense?
Yeah.
And you gotta get that. Let's look at the word, Exodus 14 and 21, and I'll come back to that. Moses stretched out his hand over the sea, and the Lord caused the sea to go back by a strong east wind all that night, and made the sea into dry land, and the waters were divided. So the children of Israel went into the midst of the sea on dry ground, and the waters were a wall to them. And on the right hand, on the right hand, and on their left, on both sides. Sorry about that. First one here, God delivers in his own unique way.
Wow.
What does the word unique mean?
Special.
Special?
One of a kind.
One of a kind?
Tailor-made.
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 Y'all see that? One of a kind, tailor-made. Somebody else said something else, right?
Special.
Special.
Yeah.
So I'll take all those definitions. And so guess what? We want the deliverance, not unique. We want the deliverance that maybe we have seen in somebody else.
Yeah.
Herman's brother
Yeah.
that brought him down here, his story that he told, he smoked crack.
Yeah.
He came down to this church
Yeah.
on a bicycle, he said.
Yeah.
Never will forget his story.
Yeah.
Went down front, they prayed for him.
Yeah.
He didn't go to no meeting.
Nope.
He didn't go to treatment.
Nope.
He can still drink
Yep.
and didn't go back to crack. I said, Lord, that's it right there. That's the one I want.
That's the one I want.
That's the one I want.
That's right. That's
Know what
right.
I want?
That's what I want.
Name drives a Benz. Take me from the bicycle, Lord, to a Mercedes Benz.
Yeah.
Let me make hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
I want to be that brother.
That's
And God said, no, I got a unique deliverance for you.
unique.
And I didn't like that.
Yeah.
Because I was going to force upon him my plan. And I believe that's y'all problem. Because it was definitely mine.
Yeah.
I had an idea of the way I wanted to be delivered.
That's right.
And it was different.
That's right.
I said, Lord, if you can split seas, you can sure deliver me that way.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, that's not the way. That's not my plan for you.
That's right.
And some of us, y'all, we're at a turning point of whether or not you're going to accept God's way or you going to just keep doing what you're doing.
Wow.
And let me say it this way again. I thought when you talk about deliverance, it was classes of deliverance.
Okay.
Shuka, do nothing. First class deliverance.
All right.
See what I'm saying? Have to go to some meetings. Oh, that's the basement. You know, have to go to church and do some things that's second class. And so it looked like he was trying to give me the lowest form of deliverance. That's what my sick mind told me. And somebody told me, hey, Bussy, are you smoking crack? No. You going to jail? No. You got a house? No. Yeah. You got a car? Yeah. So what you complaining about?
Yes,
See, I found out that he couldn't trust me with that form of deliverance.
Okay.
Now that brother I was talking about, who came down here on a bicycle, he's still serving the Lord.
Yeah.
That's how I met him,
Yeah.
serving the Lord. Because God could trust him with that deliverance,
Yeah.
and he was still going to do it.
Yeah.
He had to keep his foot on my neck.
That's right. That's right.
So it wasn't about God's power.
Right.
It was about his ability to trust me.
Trust me. That's right. That's right.
Yeah. So I wanted to put it off on him,
Yeah.
and really, it was about me.
I mean. Yeah.
He said, this is what happened. He said, if I delivered you that way, would you serve me?
What you say? Wow.
I didn't think he know me that well, Janika. You know what I said? Sure.
Yeah.
And he gave me that face you give me.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Come on. Yeah.
You know how I know? Because every time you done got clean, you wouldn't go to church, you wouldn't go to meeting, you done prove yourself unfaithful.
That's right. That's right.
And y'all are me. Because every time y'all are free, y'all don't serve.
Yep. That's
So
right.
maybe you ought to stop expecting. Fix my camera. That leg right there. Quickly.
Yeah.
Pull it.
Oh, yeah. Put it down.
All right. That his specialty, people ask, does God still deliver like he did in the Old Testament? Yes, absolutely. But we must have God's perspective on deliverance. You got to look through the thing. Make sure you're turned it.
It's straight now.
All right. So, check this out. People ask all the time, do God still split seeds? Does God still raise from the dead? Yes. It just look different.
Yeah.
If you get clean, this is what my first spiritual advisor told me. He said, Obi, you getting clean is equivalent to the Red Sea split.
Yeah.
You know, but I was looking for those big, miraculous
Big.
ways that was like that. But today, it don't look that way, y'all.
That's right.
It doesn't. We're looking for something different.
Yeah.
And you getting clean, that's a miracle.
Yeah.
The literature says any day an addict is clean for one day, it's a miracle. So he still delivers and he still does miraculous things. You getting clean would be miraculous.
That's right.
Because you and everybody who know you done gave up.
That's right.
I tell people all the time, this way, nobody expects you to get clean.
Right.
It's a lot of people hope that you get clean.
That's right.
But they ain't expect it.
That's right.
They just hope that you get clean.
Yeah.
Now, after you stay clean for a while, that hope turns into expectancy again. You get it back.
Yeah.
See, ain't nobody hoping that Obi stay clean.
That's right. That's right.
Everybody who know me expects me to stay clean.
That's right.
You know, my wife don't sit around every other week hoping that I come home with my paycheck.
Right. Right.
That's just expect
Specs.
me to come home with my paycheck.
That's right.
She ain't hoping it.
That's right.
You see what I'm saying? When my kids call me begging for money, they ain't hoping I have some.
Right.
They're expecting me to do it.
Yeah.
And you'll get that back. Got it?
Got it.
For he does not always view things as we do. We must view God's deliverance not by emotional reflex or human standards or even common sense, but by biblical truth. We gotta, see, a lot of times when we think about stuff from the Bible, we have our earthly mindset about who God is and what he does. And we don't get into the Word of God to line it up with Scripture, biblical truth. You see what I'm saying? And God doesn't work outside of his Word. That's where we get in trouble. We start asking God to do things that's not in his nature or character to do. Like I was telling the guys this morning, God never does for man what's man's job to do. He don't do that. ain't going to get you clean and keep you clean without you involved.
That's right.
At this point, he's opened up. He split the Red Sea for you. You got to walk through it.
Yes, yes.
What that look like? Going to meetings, serving in church, working your steps. If you don't do that, then you go back and you. That's biblical truth.
Yes.
Last month when I taught Kingdom Man, he told that man in James 5:17 that had been, around 15 in James 5. He said, pick up your bed and walk. He gave that man something to do. He spoke to that man and he gave that man something to do. If that man wouldn't have got up and picked up his bed, he wouldn't have walked.
That's right.
You see what I'm saying? And so we think that God is going to do it all. No, it's a part for you to do.
That's right. That's right.
And you got to, Apostle Paul said when he asked for the thorn to be removed from his side, he asked 3 times. And when you get on down there in Corinthians, he said, you know what? I don't count this as robbery because he didn't remove it from him. And he explained why. He said that this was a buffer to keep him humble or to keep him dependent.
Yeah.
But he just wanted to be removed. And he told him 3 times, no, man.
That's right.
But he said, my grace is sufficient and made perfect in the time of weakness or trouble. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And so that's it.
That's
Paul
right.
had something that he had to do.
Yeah.
Deliverance all the time don't come when you don't do nothing. So do your part. In the big book I call Synonymous, on page 452 in the 3rd edition, it says, I never expect God to do something for me. Rather, I do what's in front of me to be done, and I leave the results up to him.
Up to him.
That means that I have a part in it, and he has a part in it.
Yeah.
Got it?
That's right.
And a lot of times we sitting around expecting God to do it all, and that's why we don't get it. But does he deliver? Absolutely. But you got a part in it, Dominique.
That's right.
2 Timothy 4:18 says this. He said, the Lord will deliver me from every work and preserve me for his heavenly kingdom. To him be the glory forever. See, we like to quote that. Right? But what we don't understand was that after Paul said that, his head was cut off. He was killed. He said that from jail. And God delivered him.
Yes, he did.
But probably not in the way
Right.
he was expecting.
Right.
His deliverance came through his head getting cut off and him going on the globe.
That's right.
Is that deliverance? You said no?
I'm sorry, I missed it, yes, sir.
Yeah.
Okay. Because we'll turn around and say, absent in the body is present with the Lord, right?
That's right.
So he just brought him home.
Go him on.
But he didn't spare him from an ugly death.
No, he didn't.
See, we think deliverance is God delivering us from everything ugly.
Oh, my.
And that's not what deliverance is all the time, y'all.
That's right.
Most of the ugly stuff, I'll say all, is what I self-imposed upon myself. But now that I am free, God uses that so that I can minister to others.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? It helps me. Even the stupidity, the stuff that he let me go through, all of that. Because Romans 8:28 says that everything works together for the good of those who love the Lord and who's called according to his purpose. So all of that, the stuff that he allowed me to go through and the stuff that I went through because my head was just hard, he can use all of that for his glory. For you and me. That make sense?
Yes, sir.
Turn over. Number 1, it says, after Paul asked for deliverance, he was killed and his head was cut off. His earthly pain was over. There was no more jail for him. He was with God. So he delivered him. You know,
Yeah.
I was talking to a sister. Her sister had been in the hospital for a while. One of the deaconesses. And she said, Bussy, God delivered my sister. He answered my prayer.
Wow.
I said, what happened? He said, she died last night.
Wow.
She said, I prayed because she was in a state where it didn't look like she was going to get no better. And she said, I didn't want her to suffer like that.
Yeah.
So I said, Lord, I know she know you. Call her home. And that sister called, her sister dying, deliverance, and answer the prayer. That's a different perspective, isn't it?
Yes.
She said, I didn't go praying that, she be healed. Just call her home. I'm like, wow, okay. My mother-in-law died in December. And she had 2 brain aneurysm surgeries. And she said she didn't want to be in a dependent state. And God called her home. She had been functioning. She was fine. Matter of fact, she was here for Thanksgiving. And then a few weeks later, she died. And I was telling my wife, I said, I know this is hard, but maybe God honored her prayer. That if she was going to have to suffer, because if she could have had that brain aneurysm, the bus, and been in a vegetated state, or just been here and been in bad shape. But she was functioning, got to see her kids, and was doing all right, and just went to sleep, and woke up in heaven, as the old people say. That's deliverance too. But not the deliverance that we say. Because we think that deliverance is us getting our perspective on the situation. That makes sense? And so, y'all, let me say it this way. What if God's deliverance for you is that you got to go to meetings, that you got to serve Him, you got to go to church, that you got to help somebody? I was just telling a brother, I said, dude, you're not working the program because you're not doing H&I, you're not going to hospitals and institutions. You're sitting in church, but you're not working in church. What if his sobriety and deliverance is tied to him doing something? What if God says that you won't be free unless I can use you? What if? What if, Dominique? No. Use your words, and they tell little kids. Make a sentence. Seriously. What if it's tied to that?
I would be okay with it.
Woo, I almost cussed. Bull crap. You know how I know that? I done told you that 3 times, and you ain't done nothing. You know why? Because you ain't all right with that. And guess what, y'all? We can't wait God out. He will leave you right where you are. Because He's not a God of time. In Exodus chapter 4, one of the hardest scriptures for me to understand, God just showed up in a burning bush to Moses and said, I've heard the cries of my people. Like they just started crying yesterday. But if you know the word of God, they've been crying for 400 years. That lets you know that God ain't about time. So guess what? He'll leave you like this and you be 70 and He'll still be waiting. And guess what? Then you come out and go to work and He'll be just as happy. The angels in heaven will be rejoicing just like you done it at 19. We are worried about time. God ain't worried about time. My fear was that I would grow old and be still stuck in my addiction. That was my fear. I came here at 28 and I said, let me get clean. I'm just 56 years old, but I got almost 26 years clean. So I let you know that, I started a little early. And that was what I wanted. And my second one, my fear was that I would die in jail. Just had a brother from this fellowship, not trying to scare y'all, it's just true. His family texted me Thursday, say he died in prison. 4 years ago, I went and testified for him to try to keep him from going to jail. But he went back to prison. This week, he died in prison. That has to be a tough place to be deathly sick. Because, you know, they don't see about you very well in TDC. You know, and that must have been miserable. And he died like that. But he came through this program about 4 or 5 times. Smart, articulate, knew the Word of God, knew the literature backwards and forwards, but he just wouldn't do the program. He wouldn't do it. And you know what? And he came through the first time. Pastor Parker was the pastor. So I believe he came through, must have been 93 or 94. This 2018. So I knew that brother 25, 26 years. And I watched him struggle the whole time. And he wouldn't do it. And guess what? God allowed all of those things to happen. So, what if your deliverance is what I said? What if you got to do something that you don't want to do? Like work the program. It ain't like it's ugly stuff. He ain't saying bust bricks. He's just saying do the program. Go to some meetings. Sponsor somebody. Help somebody. It ain't about you. I wanted to be delivered to do what I wanted to do, my way. The first time I went and spoke at a church, and I shocked the people, I said, I am living my nightmare. That ain't a good way to open a speech up in a church. They're like, what do you mean? I said, this is the worst thing could happen to a cool guy like me, that I'd be standing up in somebody's church teaching. This wasn't my plan. I'm supposed to be still coming to on a Sunday morning, because I've been out on Saturday night doing some things. That's what I wanted to be free to go and do. Not to be doing that. It's Saturday and the sun is shining. It's some stuff I could be doing. Come on, y'all. It's 12:30. Come on. I got about $4 or $5 in my pocket. Come on now. That wasn't my plan to be spending on a Saturday. And I'd be back here in the morning at 10 o'clock for church. My whole weekend. Wasn't my plan. I bet it wasn't your plan either when you came here. Right?
That's right.
So now God deliver me so that I can go and do some things. When the Williams say dip it and do it, I don't know exactly what that means, but it sounds good. What that mean, Janika, dipping in and doing it?
Doing what you do, doing whatever.
But not this.
No.
No, I ain't dipping in and doing it.
Well, I would consider you are, yeah,
But not that kind of dipping in and doing
dipping
it.
and doing the program.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. See how she fixed that? Like, no. That's one of our things, y'all. We talked about this in Relapse and Recovery in a text I'm hearing. It says that this program will become monotonous, meaningless, and boring. And the reason we can't stay clean is because we are addicted to excitement and chaos. And sobriety is just routine. And we're not used to routine. We're used to chaos and excitement. You know, I could be in the gambling shack, people arguing, fussing, and fighting, and cussing, and shooting, and go to sleep. You know, my wife said, why you gotta have the radio on when you sleep? I need some racket. So how you gonna listen to that and go to sleep? I'm sorry, baby. I need to hear some. She said, at least listen to something. I don't hear the news, CNN, and all that kind of stuff while I sleep. Because my mind. I'm used to chaos. Half of y'all, no, not half, 90% of y'all got Transodol at home, and y'all have to take 2 pills to sleep tonight. Y'all ain't on camera, just raise your hand. Know them sisters on that stuff. They come there, well, I took my medicine too late last night and I can't wake up. You gotta take it on schedule too. If you take it too late,